It is. Is it time yet? Is it time?
I don't know, 7:32.
Yeah.
Something.
Do you think
like
so?
Nah.
You got any words for us, Schwaber, before we get kicking off here?
Bite me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were live. You are looking live at the Sports Porch Pittsburgh. My goodness. It has been quite a week in the Could somebody help me out here, please?
It's been quite a week in the Berg.
That's right.
Quite a week. We're celebrating our birthday early.
Thank you for listening to the Sports Porch podcast. And, of course, we are coming to you from Pittsburgh, all over the world on social media live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. And, of course, we drop the podcast right after the show here. And we got something brand new we're going to bring to you tonight. And thanks for listening on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And, of course, you can always find us on theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com.
Theporcheslive.com.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the show here. We got a whole bunch of people watching. Listen, you can see down in the ticker, our website, we got something new for you here. Call into the show. Tell us what you think about what we're talking about tonight. There is the phone number. You will be live on the air. Don't worry. It's not video. And it's a free call for all you yinzers out there who still think you have to pay for cell phone minutes.
You don't?
I don't think there's anybody that thinks that.
Steve
anymore.
does. He does. Hockey Jesus does.
Sure, you have to pay for your
He's still
minutes.
back in ancient times.
No.
So 412-805-7236. It is a new feature. So if I screw it up, please accept my apologies. And hey, listen, guys, we're going to talk Buccos right away. Your Buccos report you can catch after every Pirates game on the podcast on iHeart, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts.
They're awesome.
Absolutely. They are. They're doing incredible. And Pat on Track says he just came for the Kutch discussion. Pat, there is no Kutch discussion, but
Is he saying, will he be traded?
right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, there's always Kutch discussion when it comes to the Pirates. He's their best player.
Yeah.
Player, not pitcher.
Here's where we're gonna go right now. A lot of people have been talking about Bednar getting an all-star snub. The first thing I'm gonna say, though,
Well, he didn't make it.
he didn't.
He did
make it.
not.
Really?
You didn't know that?
I didn't. I figured it was a shoo-in.
Where the hell have you been?
Well, I guess up and down the block.
Yeah, right. So, but the first thing I want to do, though, is I want to talk about that walk-off that Santana hit the other night. Truly, probably the most fun moment of this year so far.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. That was a blast.
I like the little dance
was a
at the
blast.
end.
Yeah, I taught him that.
Everything about it was great.
He can really dance for a big man.
He can.
Not all big men are fleet of foot.
What I
Well, you know what? He's a big man, but he's not tall. But he's just like so thick. The guy just can just bang the ball when he gets a hold of it. Bang.
Yeah.
It is surprising to me.
Did it actually go into the river
Yeah, I believe it did.
Yeah.
on a bounce or like on a fly?
I don't know. That part I didn't see.
I don't know.
I didn't
But it
see.
went
I don't
out.
think they had video of it because
don't
you
think
would
so.
have seen it like
Yeah.
splashing into the river.
Yeah, they
if it
didn't.
did.
They didn't have it. But I'll tell you what I love about it was first pitch. That's what I love.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
It was
first
like,
pitch
you
is
know,
always the greatest.
Yeah, who was on second? Kutch was on second.
Yeah.
Be aggressive.
And it was like, no question, I'm swinging at the first pitch and I'm going to end this. And that was great to see. So, then, of course, what happens is they lose the next two. That was no good. So, as far as the Buccos go, I'll address that in a second. But really what I want to talk about here is the last couple days all over the airways here. Bednar got an all-star snub. My thought, I'm going to give you my thoughts. It's going to be real simple. He didn't. Okay. He didn't. Why? Is he good? Yeah. Is he that good? Yeah. Are the Pirates in a better position because of him? Not really. They haven't had enough situations late inning for him to come in. They've gone sometimes a week without using him.
Right.
So it's not about that he get a snub and he's not considered one of the better relievers. It's about he hasn't been seen.
Right.
And so, no, I don't think he got an all-star snub. What do you guys think?
Well, I guess it depends on who was taken ahead of him.
Well,
Right.
the four pitchers who have more saves than he does.
Right.
Okay.
Bautista?
But his
No, that's
ERA,
Baltimore,
his
yeah.
ERA's very good.
It's
though,
better.
right?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
most cases than a lot of those
Yeah.
pitchers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $1.50 or something. Yeah, last I saw.
Well, who made it from the Pirates then?
Mitch Keller.
Keller did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mitch
Mhm.
Keller. Well deserved.
Art Cy Young Award winner.
Right.
Well, at
deserved.
mid-season anyway.
Well, here's the thing. He's pitching tonight. Okay, so
Wait, can we finish the Bednar
Sure.
discussion?
Yeah, let's finish the Bednar discussion.
I have a few thoughts on that.
Go for it.
The question is an all-star somebody who deserves it because what they do when they're in the game, or is it because they're in the game so much and they do so much with it is the reason they're an all-star?
That question completely
Not
confused me.
entirely sure I could follow that.
Yeah, I was not sure what the hell he meant.
So
Speak
when
to
he
us
comes,
like we're idiots.
okay,
please.
when the guy comes in, he's lights out.
Right. That's good.
He's one of the best pitchers.
Right.
Why does it matter that he only gets in 6 or 7 or maybe 16 times in the 68 times?
I don't think it should matter.
So
I mean,
that's the issue.
I think the ERA is more important.
Yeah, I mean he's been lights. I don't even know the last time he missed a save opportunity. Like it's been a while since he wasn't able to finish what he started.
Well, and also for a team that's under 500, he has locked down.
Well,
like
he
16 wins, right?
He had 9 saves in April, and he has a total of 16 saves. So he's only had 7 saves since. And that's the issue. The issue is he hasn't had enough opportunity to get saves. So is that a fault of the pitcher, or maybe the manager should be putting him in there in like the 8th inning or the 7th inning using him more?
What is his ERA?
It's sub 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like 1.7 or something like that?
I think it's $1.50.
Yeah.
that's
it's super low.
You can't.
And his walk to strikeout ratio or strikeout is 8-1.
Yeah, it's $1.44, 37 strikeouts, and 4 walks.
Yeah,
31 innings pitched, 24 hits, only giving up 5 earned runs. And he is 2-0 with 16 saves. So, you guys are making a case that I don't think is a bad case. So I don't think it's about his stats. I don't think he was snubbed because I think he was, well, I guess maybe if you want to say he was snubbed because, he plays for the Pirates.
Yeah. And I think
right.
that's really the bottom line of this. The team is not that good. If the team was in first place, guess what? He probably is in the All-Star game.
No doubt.
And I think that's the reality of what it is. The Pirates as an organization just isn't good enough to have 2 all-star players on their roster, even if one may be performing like one.
Here are the relievers that made the all-star team: Alexis Diaz from Cincinnati, Josh Hader from San Diego, Devin Williams from Milwaukee, who is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He's at least as good as Bednar, if not a little.
Wait, did he
better.
give up that home run to San?
No, he wasn't in the game for that, and he was unavailable that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Camilo Doval from San Francisco. If you'd care to look up any of their statistics to compare.
Well, how many saves and what are their ERAs?
Okay, that's great. Thanks for making me do the hard work.
No, I know they all have more saves.
But that much more? I mean, 17, 18?
Diaz in Cincinnati has 23 saves and a 2.19 ERA.
Okay.
With 58 strikeouts in 37 innings pitched. Okay. So he's better.
An all-star.
He's better.
100%.
It's hard to be better than what Bednar is, but he's better.
He's better.
Hader from the Padres has 18 saves. He's got a 1.21 ERA. Better. 45 strikeouts in 29 innings pitched. So
he's better.
A little better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Williams from Milwaukee. He has I don't know why it's not giving me his stats when I clicked on his name. Come on. Devin Williams from Milwaukee. They're not pulling it. It's not pulling up.
They probably have 2 Devin Williamses. You probably clicked the batter.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I clicked the right-handed pitcher. Camilo Doval is from the Giants, has 24 saves, $1.89 ERA, 53 strikeouts, and 30. They're all comparable.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it, the kid from Cincinnati is the one that stands out, who's better. But they're all comparable. So, I've got half a mind to change my opinion on that and say, you know what? I think he did get a snub. I do. I think he did because he's a Pirate.
No. I mean, well, I want to know what the last guy was because, to be honest,
Devin Williams.
Are you looking him
30 innings pitched, 1.47 ERA, 18 saves.
Actually, I hate to say it, but I think they actually all are better than Bednar, at least statistically.
I think they're all comparable, which means the Pirates lose.
Well, and he had the lowest amount of saves. So,
right. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's why. And Pat on Track, of course, has something good to say. I had to teach Steve how to throw a screwball poorly. It'll wreck your elbow. Where did he teach you how to throw a screwball?
I don't recall us spending much time out on the ball field.
Yeah. Where was this instruction taking place?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it was happening in an alternate reality somewhere.
Yeah,
and it was fun though.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I'm sure it was.
I'm sure it was great fun.
Yes. Okay. But yeah. So addressing that, yes. Bednar was the worst of the bunch, I guess. The worst of a good bunch.
But he was close.
Still deserving. I mean, if they took 5 relievers, they could have thrown him in there. Sure.
Yep.
So if they were playing a little bit better, he'd have 2 or 3 or 5 more saves, and he'd be in there.
So congratulations go to Mitch Keller. 9 wins. He's got a 3.34 ERA, 118 strikeouts. Let me tell you, I really think that. Now that we're about halfway through the season, of course, he pitches tonight, and tonight you never know. But 17 games started, 11 quality starts, 9-3, 105 innings pitched, 88 hits, 39 earned runs, 118 Ks to 28 walks.
That's very good.
Impressive.
Yeah, 10.1 Ks per 9.
The guy's got great control.
He really does.
Mm-hmm. He's got good stuff. I mean, he definitely deserves to be an all-star.
Well, and now that we're a little further in the season, I think that a potential mention of a possible Cy Young, should he keep this up, is in the conversation.
Yeah, he'll have to have a better second half in order to do that.
Which is going to be hard because with the team that he has to work with, I mean, imagine if he had the lineup that the Dodgers have or that the Braves have, and he was pitching this way.
Right.
He could very well be 10-1 with a 2.20 ERA. And then you're really in the conversation.
Yeah, but as long as he continues to pitch the way he is, I think he'll be in the conversation. I just hope he can do that.
I just hope he stays on the Pirates.
He'll finish 9th in Cy Young voting.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I'm going with a hearty 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's going to continue to pitch well. From what the little that I've seen of him, he just looks like he just has command of where the strike zone is and just does a really good job of getting quality starts every time he's out there.
He does. And as long as he gets run support, the big thing about him that I've noticed this year, the step that he's taken, is that if he gets into a little bit of trouble early, he doesn't let it affect him. He stays the course, and he's able to put that base runner to the side or put that home run to the side and say, okay, I got to get the next out. I got to work on the next out. And I think that's huge in the maturation of a young pitcher. I mean, he added a 4th pitch to his arsenal, and there's a whole lot that goes into learning how to pitch and learning how to change speeds and all that. But really, it's a confidence thing. The other pitchers on the Pirates, you take a kid like Johan Oviedo. Okay. He had a horrible game this last outing. I've watched him pitch enough. His stuff is not that much different than Mitch Keller's. It's not that much different. He's got a lot of late movement on every single one of his pitches. His difference is his confidence. If he's not locating, forget it. He cannot find the zone. And if he gets behind in the count, or if he gets hit a few times, if he gives up a few runs, or if he starts the game on a bad note, it only gets worse from there.
Yeah.
So, therein lies the difference. They've got another kid, Luis Ortiz. This kid, it's only 14 major league starts. He's got the same kind of stuff, but it's a confidence issue. If he's confident one game, he'll go 6 innings, give up 3 hits and 2 runs. The next game, he'll go 3 innings, give up 7 hits, 5 runs. So, Keller's got his confidence. And right now, being 4 games under 500, I think at any time, normally that would signal potential doom again for the Pirates from the standpoint of their lineup. But given this division where it is right now, I mean, 6 games out of first place in the division as we sit right now. We lost 2 straight. And of course, Milwaukee has won 3 straight. And Cincinnati came back to earth a little bit. You're still not out of it. You're probably out of a wild card, because the wild card teams potentially
there are too many.
There are too many that are better teams. They're just better teams. So the division winner is going to go. So whoever makes a run of it in this division late and wins it is going to be there. And I still think that the Pirates have an opportunity to do that, especially with the younger players they brought up. And I talked about this on the Buccos report, where, I've been questioning, of course, Shelton and Charrington and their moves and all that stuff. But when you look back on it and you give them a chance, I still question some of Shelton's moves. And at the same time, the bullpen,
he's an all-star,
has been a mess. I know he's an all-star. But at the same time, the bullpen's been a mess, and that was hard to figure out. And it's still hard to figure out, even though Holderman's back. But bringing up Henry Davis, and we can argue all day long, and I'd love to hear from somebody out there if you want to give us a call at 412-805-7236. Why is Henry Davis, and I've thought about this, why is he playing right field? We've had this discussion. He's a catcher. He can hit the ball. He's demonstrated that Major League pitching does not intimidate him.
Right.
But I think he might be playing right field right now, because we are still in the thick of it, so to speak. And it takes a little time to build rapport with pitchers. And as terrible as Austin Hedges is at hitting, he's got the rapport with the pitchers. And then DeLay usually catches for Oviedo. What do you guys think about that?
I think you're drinking some Kool-Aid.
Some black and gold Kool-Aid.
Yeah. No, I think he can perfectly jump right in there tonight if they wanted to, and he could catch maybe not as great of a game, but by the end of next week, he'd be just as good.
And but bottom line too, I'm sorry, but half the teams in the league, the pitching coaches and the managers call the pitches. So it's not like they could do whatever the heck they wanted with them.
That's true. That's true.
So, I don't know. I mean,
and I think, once again, this just goes to the fact that his pedigree, he's a number 1 MLB pick. He's going to pick it up real quick.
True.
There's no way he would have been drafted that high if he had some problem with, learning things.
No doubt.
Something like that.
No doubt.
So that's where I'm putting most of my thought and faith when I say those sorts of things.
Honestly, I just think this Austin Hedges, who's hitting 160, I just think he's a favorite of the manager.
I agree.
And I think that's the only reason why he's in there. There's no other reason to have a 160 hitter in.
He's a kiss ass.
But in all seriousness,
he's a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got pretty eyes.
Mm-hmm. He does.
Nothing to say about that?
Are you done now?
Yeah.
I'm just
when he does it, it's okay. Yeah. When he does it, it's okay. Go ahead.
I mean, the reality, and please, somebody try to explain to me, I've watched not a lot of Pirates games, but a decent amount, because I'm trying to follow them here for the show.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
I've never seen Austin Hedges make a play where I was like, wow, he really is one of the best defensive catchers in the league. Am I missing something? Am I not watching enough games? What is so special about him? Is he throwing out base runners left and right?
No.
It's just about the way he calls the game. And it's management of the game.
Yeah.
And you're never going to see that because it just happens naturally. The next guy you put in there will manage the game very similarly.
So when one of their starting pitchers gives up 7 runs in 4 innings, that's not his fault?
No. It's the
Because
pitcher's
he's a
fault.
great game manager. The pitcher just
Right,
didn't
exactly.
execute.
It's very selective, and that's the thing.
Right.
That's
Well,
exactly
look,
the
you're
thing.
preaching to the choir here, Schwaber, because we all agree with you. I mean, and the only thing you were wrong about is he's actually hitting a lot better than you thought. He's hitting 173, not 160.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I could
Up
not
for 169 last week.
I could not agree with you more. For instance, I think it was the Buccos report a couple games ago. I can't remember which game it was, but it was in a loss. It was in the 11-8 loss where
They almost
Steve and I were down at the Leaf and Bean, and then we went to dinner at D's in Regent Square, and it was 11-2. And I even said to him, "This game's over," and I left it on in the car on the way home. By the way, by the time I got home, I'm in the driveway, and it's in the 8th inning, and they're scoring 6 runs, and it's like they might. And then there's a rain delay.
Yeah, there was like a half an hour.
Yeah, and then there's a rain delay, and that cooled them off.
Down rain.
But the last batter of the game, they pinch hit for Austin Hedges. Of course you would, because he's only batting 173.
Right.
But they pinch hit Henry Davis. And I'm like, why wasn't this guy in the game the whole time?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't he catching?
Right.
You know, he probably would have had another hit.
Mm-hmm.
So there are still things that kind of they stick in my craw about the way the team is managed.
They
My
should.
craw.
Your craw should
Has
get
anybody?
stuck.
What is your craw? Can anybody tell me what your craw is?
You know what it is.
You know what it is. It's up here. It's the thing you don't have.
It's in your stomach.
Your craw?
Yeah.
Who knows what a craw is? What is that? Can somebody
It's
look
in
that up?
Your pits.
It's in the pits of your stomach.
I think it's in your head.
Your craw.
Nobody knows what your craw is.
Well, it sticks there. Wherever it is,
Just when you need
there.
Pat on track, he can't help us
investigate.
out.
All right, Schwaber's going to figure out.
I got
where your
one more
craw is.
thought on this David Bednar thing.
Please.
I actually think I'm the problem.
Wow, that's a hell of an admission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember, probably a month ago, I was saying how I thought he was fat.
Yeah.
I think somebody picked up on that, and they're like, we can't put a fat guy in as an all-star.
Yeah, because they wouldn't want him to be fat shamed or anything.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I have to apologize. And I did apologize since that time because I actually don't think he's fat. I mean, he's a big
He's
pitcher.
pudgy.
He's a big pitcher, but he's certainly not fat.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you're saying that just to keep your health.
Well,
Just to save your own life in case you
I
come
know how
across him.
popular this show is,
Right.
And it gets a lot of traction out there.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking like I put that
Yeah.
out there too soon.
Yes.
Not and it like
Yes.
like all the excitement for his statistics.
Yeah. Well, fat or not, you're not going to outrun his 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh no! If he hits me
Yeah.
with it, I'm dead.
Gone.
Yeah, I'm dead. Right
Yeah.
in the head. Boom.
Taking
I'm
your
out.
life into your own hands.
Yeah.
Have you figured out what the craw is yet?
Well, to be honest, there's a couple versions, and some of them are just too long to get into.
Really?
What's the gist? Give us the
well,
gist.
It's a British expression,
Oh.
and
Those Brits.
it's really about something like food sticking in your throat. But it's basically to be difficult or against one's conscience for one to accept, utter, or believe.
Sticking in my craw.
Yep,
Sticking
sticking
in
in
your
your
throat.
throat.
Okay.
There's
Well,
English.
there's a lot of.
Steve was closest, saying it's of the head.
Yeah, but it wasn't even
Yep.
close.
Yep.
Well, it's an attachment to the head.
I'm just glad we were able to get away with mentioning the word throat and nothing else happened.
That is good because you wouldn't want to
Gaslighting.
talk about getting crowed in the throat.
All
Whatever
right.
that means.
Don't forget your Buccos report after every Pirates game on the podcast, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your friggin' podcasts. And what that also means is that, yes, tonight there will be a Buccos report after the game. I will be taking one for the proverbial team.
Man, I'm telling you, those West Coast trips,
Yep.
they
I've done them.
ruin your life.
I've done them. Well, I wouldn't say they ruin your life, but they make it harder. That's true.
It makes you wonder, why do those people live out there?
I don't know. Seriously, they're always 3 hours behind.
They're always 3
Yeah.
hours behind.
Always
I know.
behind on
Right.
the left
Yep.
coast.
Right.
Yep. And Jeff Grabiak says, in your craw, annoyed to disturb the peace of mind, especially by repeated disagreeable acts.
Well, that's it. right
Listen,
there.
man, if you made that
Thanks,
up, you
Graves.
should. Yeah,
I feel
the
like
new
that was
Webster's.
kind of wordy.
That's the Grabiak, the Grabiak dictionary. Okay, so what we're going to do now is obviously move on to something more entertaining, hopefully. And I do want to remind you that you can catch every Sunday on the American Busker iHeartRadio channel at 4 p.m., the Sports Porch. And also Hockey Jesus, who preaches on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And Hockey Jesus is actually going to preach right now.
Are you getting ready to take us up to the Spirit in the sky?
Hockey Jesus has some preaching to do about the Penguins. Call us at 412-805-7236 to join the show and give us your thoughts. It's a free call, and we actually will answer it. Go ahead, Hockey Jesus. We got a lot. We got Jari. We got trades.
There's so much here. There's much here.
Take it away.
The Penguins have made 11 player moves.
Wow. And on the Ocho, Hockey Jesus.
It's crazy. I mean, I've never seen so much turnover in a team. This Penguins team, I don't think ever in the history. Yeah, I mean, think about it. So they pick up Riley Smith. They get Ryan Graves. They get Noah Carrier, Lars Eller, Joona Koppanen, Alex Needlejic, can't even pronounce his name.
Needlejic.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah, probably not.
Ned Needleman.
The Needle.
The Needlejic.
He's a goalie. He's only got a 1-year contract anyways from Detroit.
The Needler.
Ryan Shea, Matt Nieto, and then they re-signed Zahorna, Mark Johnstone, and Magnus Hellberg.
That's
Another
a good hockey name.
And then I didn't even say the biggest name.
Somebody from The Sound of Music.
And I didn't even say the biggest name.
The hills are alive.
Tristan Jarry is your Pittsburgh Penguin goalie for the next 5 years. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, call us 412-805-7236.
How do I feel about that?
That's what we want to know.
I feel bad about that.
What does Jesus feel?
Well, I happened to be at the Leaf and Bean with the technical director when this all came down.
Oh, yeah, when the news broke.
Yep.
We were there.
Yes. We were there. I was on the phone trying to make calls to make it not happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened.
Yeah, you tried hard, too.
And
prank phone calls.
I think I used 4-letter words that wasn't fudge.
Yeah. Well, fudge is a 5-letter word.
That's a 5-letter word. Yeah. But we got what you were going.
I used the 4-letter word.
We digress.
So, and then I took it away from myself. I said, there's nothing I can do about this. What would have been the alternative to not signing Jarry? It wouldn't have been better. That's what I came up with, because the goalies that are out there now, I mean, let's face it. The Flyers are never going to sell us Carter Hart. That was never going to happen. He's probably still better. Hellebuck's going to be too expensive. You could get him this year for $6 million, but then next year you're without a goalie again. And that's not what the Penguins want to do. They want to create some consistency in the goalie position. The problem with Jarry is he gives you consistency, but he also gives you injury. So I'm hoping and praying, as the Hockey Jesus will pray. Thank you, Mark. That they actually know that his hip situation is not chronic, and it just was something that flared up this year, and it won't happen again.
That would really suck.
But
I'm just saying.
Right. But if it does, I think they're in serious trouble. I mean, Casey DeSmith is an adequate backup. There's nothing wrong with him as a backup, but if Jarry can't play for a week or two at a time and he goes on a long-term injury, they're in big trouble again, because they didn't do enough. I love Ryan Graves, don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a great defenseman. They signed him to a 6-year contract. And he's a big guy, but he alone is not going to stop pucks from going into the net. So they just didn't do enough in the defense core to make me feel warm and fuzzy if Jarry goes down, that they can keep pucks from getting into the net.
Yeah, and I think...
And the system they play, we know Sullivan's not going to change. He wants to play that speed game, which means there's going to be back and forth going on, and there's always going to be opportunity for the other team to score lots of goals.
And isn't this something that people are always concerned about with Kyle Dubas, because he seemed to have an issue with goaltending in Toronto?
So the thing with Dubas is he doesn't look at the goalie position as something that you have to spend $10 million on. He thinks that if you spend $6 to $7 million on it, that's enough to make your team good enough to be able to compete, because the difference between a number 10 or 15 goalie and a number 4 or 5 goalie is literally, if you look at the stats, it's like a save percentage of like maybe 920 versus 911 or something.
Right,
like
which
that.
is like less than a goal.
Right.
Okay.
So that's where his mind is, and he's been very open about that. Like it shouldn't surprise anybody. He didn't spend a lot of money to get a goalie. I just wish they would have went to get somebody different to try something new. That's my biggest concern with bringing back Jari. Familiar lately has been either not making the playoffs or making the playoffs and losing in the first round. Jari doesn't have that. Hey, I'm going to win a first round series for you, so we can move on from this. He's still an unknown when it comes to the first round, and that's the biggest problem that I have.
Well,
I agree.
Gonna have to live with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy now, so that's what you got to do. Let's talk about some of these other guys, though. I mean, they spent about $20 million to get some of these guys in, and most of them are like 20, older 20s. Ryan Shea, he actually is a lifetime AHLer. He's the youngest. He's at 26. They only have him for a 1 year, but they got Lars Eller, who's 34-year-old journeyman. We know him from playing in Washington. Ryan Graves is definitely the cream of the crop. He's a 28-year-old, 6'5", 220, big guy. He's not going to be like Brooks Orpik running people over, but nobody's going to be able to run at him. And he plays 20 minutes a game, so he'll definitely be playing. He'll be playing with Letang in the first pair, 100% sure of that. Right now, the lines look like Sid, Raquel, and Jake, Malkin, Rust, and Riley Smith will play on the wing with him now that Zucker went to Arizona. The third line looks like it's probably going to be Eller. This is a weird line. I don't know how I feel about this line right now. I don't feel very good about it, but the third line will be Eller, Carter, and Granlund.
You mean the fourth line?
The third line. The fourth line will be
okay.
Kari, Nieto, and O'Connor. I don't know. Everybody says that that's probably better third and fourth line than we had. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm going to have to do some analysis and look at these guys. I do like Lars Eller. I have to agree. I like Eller better on the third line than Carter, but Carter's still there, and he's going to be playing on the right wing. So I just don't know how that's really going to help them. So it's a mixed bag for me right now. I do like the fact that they went out and got so many new players. Like some of these guys that I named, they're not even going to be in the starting lineup, but they're going to be competing for a job. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll make the offseason pretty interesting, and especially when they get into camp to see, who's going to be vying for those positions. I actually think I would move O'Connor up to the third line, move Granlund down, or even cut him.
Are there any more moves left to make?
Well, there is talk. I don't know how they do it, but Carlson's still out there,
right?
And supposedly the Penguins and Carolina are like the last two teams that are in it, but they literally have no more cap space left to sign a guy that makes $11.5 million. So that means they would have to find a way to get rid of Petrie's contract, Ruda's contract, and probably somebody else.
Didn't they have weren't they in the top 10 in cap space available at one point?
Well, I mean,
I thought they had $30 million.
Well, they spent 28,
and they spent 28 of
yeah.
it. Oh, okay. They spent 28.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was closer to 20.
No,
okay.
They spent more than that. But they did lose someone. Zucker and Dumo left.
Right.
Zucker signed a $5.3 million contract with Arizona, and Dumo signed a 2-year deal with Seattle for 3.2, which makes sense for Dumo, by the way. I mean, it's like Pittsburgh West out there in Seattle land.
Right. The Kraken.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think that'll be a good pickup for Seattle. That's a physical league. I don't know if Dumo is going to last 2 years out there as physical as they play, but
what do we care anymore?
We don't.
That's right.
But Brian Dumoulin's a good guy. We got him in the Jordan Stahl trade. He was the throw-in guy.
So at this point right now, the roster seems to be pretty set. going
Yeah.
into preseason.
Unless they can find a way to dump Granlund's contract and Petrie or Ruda, those would be the guys that would have to move to be able to bring in somebody like Carlson.
So this flurry of activity for the last week and a half and all, now preseason starts September, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a way over.
Yeah. So now we got about 6 weeks of, nothing. Maybe. I mean, you never know. There could be a surprise move.
I would keep an eye on what's going on with those contracts.
Right.
If they could somehow find a trade or a trade partner. So
they can get Carlson.
So San Jose might be willing to keep $3 million for a couple of years or something like that.
How does getting Carlson change their outlook for this year, even with the signing of Jari? Because that's a big contract, even if somebody agrees to take the money on.
It changes their whole defensive structure because now they go from people who might be able to pass the puck up to wingers that will move the puck to Carlson basically skating it up himself when he's in, and then Letang when he's in being able to skate it up. So they basically have two skating defensemen who can move the puck, and you don't have to worry about passing it as much.
Okay, does that play into the whole speed game?
Definitely plays into what Sullivan wants to do. And he always tells his defensemen, play up, which means go get the puck. If rather than just wait back there for the puck to come to you, go get it. He would love to have somebody like Carlson.
Well, if they're on the same page,
but they have to dump a lot of salary. I just don't see how it works with the amount of salary he commands, and he's signed for like 5 more years at $11.5 million.
Well, they did just hire the guy they consider the boy genius to run the team, so you never know, right?
Yeah, and somebody mentioned this. I forget the name now, but there was a person they brought in who basically is their cap genius,
capologist.
Yeah, and so clearly they've got their work cut out for them to figure that one out.
Okay, Hockey Jesus, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It's been a busy few days.
It has been.
Winter services.
Services will be next Monday at 7:30.
There you go.
Thank you for today's sermon.
There will be no midweek service.
Okay. Did I do that right?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you even hear it?
No, it's more like a.
Okay. Who are the players to watch on the Steelers this year right now? Call us at 412-805-7236 and tell us your thoughts. You can do that right now while we're live, by the way.
No DG or Trombley today, by the way.
Well,
it's the nation's birthday.
It's a holiday. I was thinking that because I was watching the live viewers and I thought, it's a little low tonight. And then I thought, July 3rd,
This is America birthday Eve.
America birthday Eve.
America
birthday Eve. We do have a comment here. Let's see. Of course, Steve needs to get a check from the Penguins. We all agree.
Do you mean a check, like as in a check like into the boards?
No, like a paycheck.
A money paycheck.
He means a paycheck. That's what he means. Okay.
I'd just be happy to get a visit from like Sid or Mario. That'd be good enough.
Okay, so who are the
players? They can stop by and have a drink anytime they want.
I'd like to stick a live penguin in your house.
That's
from the zoo.
That's a horrible thought. From the zoo. Okay.
I don't think a penguin
it's not too far away from where you live.
That's true.
My cats would take care of those penguins.
Okay. All right, Pat. Fine. Happy freaking birthday.
We know, Pat. Yes. We were saving it for the end, but if you want to know it now. Happy birthday, Mr. Birthday Boy.
Oh, I never really cared.
Oh, yeah, he's a 4th of July birthday boy.
Yeah, who cares?
That's disappointing.
It really
You didn't know that about that? Come on. What kind of friends are you guys?
I always feel bad for those people, like with Christmas as their birthday.
Yeah.
July 4th.
I would think like 4th of July would be a good time.
Christmas is a worse birthday because, yeah. I mean,
New Year's, everybody's going out partying anyway.
New Year's, that's a perfect time to have a birthday.
Thanksgiving birthday.
Yeah.
Although that changes from year to year, doesn't it?
Who wants to give thanks?
It could be sometimes.
Thanksgiving birthday.
Halloween birthday.
Halloween.
My daughter, Halloween.
I think a Halloween birthday would be okay.
That's a bad.
It's a party.
Halloween birthday is a great birthday.
No, that's a good time. Yeah.
Well, maybe if your kid's like weird and is really into Halloween.
Yeah. Well,
even if you're not, people are
not saying yours was.
You just wanted your birthday to be a party.
All right, come on. We're going to talk about the Steelers here real
Let's
quick.
talk Stillers.
Okay, so on the porcheslive.com,
Pittsburgh
coming out this week is new post that is going to be dropped probably sometime tomorrow, and it's going to be called "Who are the most important Steelers this year?" But before we drop that post, we want to know who you think the most important Steelers are going to be this year. Now, on the list that I came up with, there are 5, but I'm going to go over one, and I'm not going to tell you where I rank him, and then we'll ask these 2 guys right here who would be on their list. So, believe it or not, one of the guys on my list who I think is key and very, very important this year is Mr. Mullet, Cole Holcomb.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
I was not expecting that.
Of course not. And I wasn't going to give you something you expected. And here's my argument for that, or here's my reason. Cole Holcomb played for the Commanders, and he showed flashes of being a very effective middle linebacker.
Mhm.
Okay. And he's got what's the little emblem they put on him?
The C.
diamonds,
He's got the headset.
No, they call it something. What do they call it? At the Steelers, the middle linebacker. They call it
The green dot.
the green dot. He's got the green dot. Is that true? Is it really? Yeah, it's
the green dots for
yeah,
the captain.
yeah.
They get all the plays in their helmet. Yeah.
Right. So he showed flashes when he played for the Commanders of being a super effective linebacker. He can cover the pass. He can cover the rush. He's a good player. So what they have lacked at for the last 5 years, I mean, we're not going to go over, the debacle, Devin Bush and all the other guys they signed. I think for the defense to be consistent. Okay. And by consistent, what I mean is when TJ Watt is in there, we all know that the defense is on another level because the offense has to account for TJ Watt.
Right.
But when TJ Watt is not in there, they struggle.
Right.
And the reason they've struggled is because of that linebacker play. And so when you bring in a guy like Cole Holcomb, who is coming off an injury, but you're penciling him in there as the starter, he is very, very important. If he makes an impact and can change that linebacking core, even make them 20% better, then first of all, when TJ Watt is healthy and playing, it only adds to the destruction that they can cause. And when TJ Watt goes down, they aren't quite as porous and easily attacked as they have been before. So there's one of my 5 guys on the list of possibly the most impactful players on the Steelers. Schwaber, want to take a stab at it? Or have you just forgotten about the Steelers?
There's so many.
Well, there's so many that are easy.
Yeah.
I mean, should we skip Kenny Pickett?
No,
we should not skip
what I'm saying is, who
Kenny
do you
Pickett.
think? I came up with a list of 5 for the post.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tell me who the number 1 guy would be on your list, then tell me.
Well, yeah, I definitely think number 1 is Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all going to, the success of the team is really going to be about, how he matures in his second season.
Yeah.
If he improves substantially, the team could be very good. If he's average, the team will probably be average, and if he's terrible, they're going to be terrible. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Incredible analysis by Bob Schwab.
It really is. But you know what? It's the truth, though. I mean, as your quarterback goes, so does your team. It's the most important in all position, all of sports for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's a lot of things I think that have been done around him that should help him be better, improving the line. And although I will give a negative, though, is that you still have Matt Canada and that effect. So
but he's not a player.
He isn't a player. But then again, we've often talked about this before, where Kenny Pickett's actually got to have some guts to at times sort of do his own thing,
Agreed.
and not just go along with the 7th jet sweep of the day.
Nobody can hear me either, so keep talking.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to say Kenny Pickett. He's the most important guy.
Okay, so Kenny Pickett, Schwaber, and I can't disagree with you on that. I actually believe we're getting a phone call.
Are we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
All right. Well, let's see who they think.
And who is it?
Let's see.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for calling the Sports Porch. Who is this?
This is Lauren Klein.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
Oh my
Lauren.
goodness, the
Lauren, you
Pittsburgh
are our
property
first
diva.
caller.
There
Congratulations.
she is.
You're
the
our
first caller. Oh my goodness gracious. How about them apples right there? My
Well, what
lovely wife.
do you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Lauren?
What do I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
What-
God, I don't know. It's been ages since I've watched the Steeler game.
Has it really been that long, honey? I never made you watch one.
I'm sorry.
I never made you watch one.
Well, you do, but I can't say I remember anything.
She probably falls asleep with a nice blanket and a coffee.
Yeah,
don't
a
think I
coffee and a
worry about
blanket.
I worry about their uniforms getting dirty.
Yeah.
They do
She
get
does.
dirty.
Yes.
Yeah, they do get dirty.
She does. She always says things like, who cleans their uniforms? And I say they give them new uniforms for every game. And she's like, no, they don't. I'm like, yeah, they do.
They do.
I'm sure
really?
they do. Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Who gets the old uniforms then? Do they get recycled or donated or what?
They trade, like you'll see guys trading their jerseys at the end of the game sometimes.
But I do believe there is a strong recycling program.
Are you just saying that, Mark?
I am just saying that.
I'm just thinking,
That's it. That's it. So,
Yeah.
so honey, we're gonna name a couple Steelers, okay? And we want you to pick the Steeler that will have the you think will have the biggest impact on their season this year. And I'm gonna pull up this list. I'm gonna name the 5 Steelers, and you tell me who that person is going to be. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Brad's
Yep.
finally in the house. Hey, Brad.
What's
Just
up,
in
Brad?
time.
Good to see you, Brad.
Brad.
Okay. Jason Huntley.
Why don't you pick people she knows?
She doesn't know any of them.
Yeah, she doesn't know any of them.
She might know a couple of the big ones.
She knows Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Yeah, give her Kenny Pickett, TJ Watt,
I
Minka Fitzpatrick,
think you're missing the whole
and
point of
Najee
this.
Harris. No, you're missing the point.
Yeah. Okay, sweetheart. Kenny Pickett,
Okay.
Najee Harris,
Okay.
TJ Watt, or
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
I'm going with TJ Watt.
There you go. You
There you
know
go.
that name though, don't
Yeah,
you,
go.
sweetheart? You know that
No.
name.
Well, he usually
No.
has the dirtiest uniform.
True.
That if he has the dirtiest uniform, then that's who I know.
Okay.
See,
Is
there
it
you go.
appropriate to call our callers sweetheart?
Well, I
Oh,
know her.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You do know her?
I do.
Okay.
I'm your biggest fan and your biggest sponsor.
There you
so
go. Yeah. So
You
I've
can
seen
call
that
me
on a
anything you
picture
want.
somewhere.
yeah.
you can call me anything you want.
There you
I'm
go.
nice.
Yep. Well, I just put your picture up again because I'm
That's
anyway.
what he
Oh,
does.
Okay. So,
oh my God.
so we have a couple comments in here while we have you on the phone. Brad Tromley says, "Good evening, gents," and he also says, "Hi, honey."
Hi, honey.
Honey, sweetie, we're all friends here on the porch.
And I want to ask you one last question, Property Diva, before you go. Well, two questions. First of all, where can anybody find you if they want to buy or sell a property in Pittsburgh? There's the sponsorship.
Property Diva. PittsburghPropertyDiva.com.
Of course, PittsburghPropertyDiva.com. And we do a segment here called What Are You Watching? And then we talk about it. So, and it's streaming, what are you watching? So what are you watching right now?
I'm
Lauren.
watching the Housewives of Orange County.
Yes.
Housewives of Orange County.
What's
That-
Huge
it's not-
Housewives fan.
Yeah, I'm not that into that. You, Chris?
when I have to be.
Is this your guilty pleasure that you're not telling us about?
Yeah,
He will watch it with me every once in a while. But
Oh,
we can
yeah.
tell by the look on
You
his
can
face.
tell.
We can
He's
tell.
turning red.
I can-
He watches it.
I'm not turning red.
Yeah, he is.
You guys.
Mhm.
I prefer to watch it by myself because he has a lot of back end questions.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh,
back
yeah.
story.
So he is actually really interested and he wants to be brought up to speed.
Well, I want to know
He
who's
just
mad
wants
at
to
who.
interrupt.
What?
He just wants to interrupt me.
Come on.
No, I just want to know what the story is so I understand why these women are pulling each other's hair and screaming at each other and throwing drinks in each other's face.
It's called entertainment.
I,
Chris.
yeah. I
So
get it.
Chris,
My guilty pleasure are the Housewives. I love the Bravo TV network.
so Chris, do you also watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette?
Yes, but I watch those alone.
Smart.
I do.
You don't want to cry in public.
Okay, Pittsburgh Property Diva, thank you so much
Diva.
for calling.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
calling in.
I love you all.
All right,
You
love
know we
too.
love
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
So
All
I
right.
guess now I get to speak.
Yeah, now you can talk to us about who you think that is. But Brad does want to say that he's taken us up on that offer to get together because he has his tickets for October 28th versus the Senators.
Yeah.
This is a hockey game.
That's
He's
a hockey game, baby.
Okay, all right.
That's an
perfect.
early season hockey game. Way to
Beautiful.
go, Brad. Get in
All right.
early.
And
All
who
right.
wants
Senators should be fun to watch.
Who
too.
wants
That's a
to
good game
miss
to
the
pick.
Sens whenever they come in?
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
Actually,
that's,
Senators have some good young
that's
talent.
a hard to get ticket. Let me
They
tell
have
you.
Claude Giroux.
Minus Giroux.
Yeah, he's an old flyer, right?
This is
Okay.
a difficult question because you could take it a couple different ways. I actually think it's going to be about the offense. And I agree with Mark and everything you said about Kenny Pickett. He's definitely the linchpin. But I think in order to make the linchpin better, the run game has to be great. And so for that reason, I'm definitely going to go with Najee. I think he has to rush for at least 1,200 yards minimum. I'd love to see. I think in order for him to really open up who he thinks he is, he's got to rush for 1,500 yards, to be honest with you. And he needs to catch about 75 balls. And that's a big ask, but I think Najee's ready for it. I mean, he's in his third year. Let's face it. He hasn't really shown any flashes of being able to get to the second tier of running and running people over there. That's what I want to see from Najee this year. And I think he's going to be the key to that, because if he can do that, he's going to give Kenny Pickett another second or two in the pocket. And I think he's still going to need that this year to get better. So I think if they can get the run game to where it's basically top 5 in the league, I think that makes Pickett a better passer. And Pickett's still going to have to throw for more touchdowns than he did this year. He's going to have to throw for he's going to have to throw for 2 touchdown and 3 touchdown passes consistently before I can say that he's an NFL quarterback.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
But I think that gets him there. I don't think he can do it on his own.
Right.
I just don't think he can do it on his own. So
I agree.
with a better offensive line, I think the protection will be there. But without the running game, I don't think he can get there on his own.
And you're right. Najee's first year, he rushed for 1,200 yards. He did have a 3.9 yards per rush average, which isn't horrible. I mean,
No, it's not horrible.
7 touchdowns. But here's the big thing, though.
Mhm.
And this is 74 receptions for 460 yards. Then last year, he ran for 1,034 yards.
Right. Took a step back.
But about the same average. He had 30. He had almost 40 less carries, though.
Mhm.
So 40 times 4 is 160 plus 1034 is your 1,200 yards.
Mhm.
So he didn't take a step back. He got less carries at the average. He did exactly the same.
I think he needs to put a full season together. That's my point.
I get you, except for he only had 41 receptions for 229 yards.
Yeah.
So
Some of that's not his doing
No.
because they changed the way they do things because they had a different quarterback.
what I'm
But
saying
I
is
think if
I
that
agree
quarterback
with
can
you.
get back to checking it down to the
Right.
running back, that will help. That'll help him also.
I'll tell you-
that's
I'll
what I'm
tell you
saying. I
something.
agree with you on that about Najee.
I'll tell you something that both Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris have in common. Chris Klein fell in love and out of love with both of them.
Yeah, that's true.
We did.
For different
no.
reasons.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no,
For different reasons.
No. Let me
you
clarify.
were
Let me
in
clarify.
love with Najee.
Gotta clarify.
I do need to clarify.
You know what I think it is? I think it's that freshman crush.
Am I not
Mhm.
allowed to clarify my feelings on this
After
show?
we're done talking about you.
It's not
Okay.
really a show about feeling.
Yeah. All right. So
okay, you can go ahead and
there's a lot of
express
truth.
your feelings.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Yes, I totally fell in love with Najee, and then I fell completely out of love with him. So, Kenny, I haven't decided if I'm no longer in love with him. What I'm saying is that
Mhm.
because this is the second year.
that's right. There you
Right.
go. Okay.
There was a courtship here.
Yes,
Mhm.
that right there.
It's true.
That's
It's
exactly
damn
right.
true.
That's exactly right.
Mhm.
Okay, so as the season goes on, we are absolutely going to continue. As you can tell, we're getting excited about football. It's just, oh man, come on! It just can't
It's
get here soon
close.
enough.
It's
Yeah,
real
Can't get
close.
here soon enough.
It can't.
Now that
Um,
the USFL is over with.
Yes. Oh, thank goodness.
Hey, I believe the Pittsburgh Maulers
Maulers
were
were
in
in
the
the-
championship game.
Yeah,
They
they
lost.
lost though. They lost. Former Steelers receiver
Ooh.
caught like 3 touchdowns to, bury them.
Does that count as a championship loss?
No. They didn't even play in Pittsburgh once this
No, they
year.
play- I know,
Really?
I
They
know.
just
Really?
put Pittsburgh Maulers.
Oh,
stupid.
really?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
They're just the Pittsburgh Maulers.
I
that's all.
mean, just yeah, you'd think the NFL they have enough money to make this league happen. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's a joke of a league,
It's
but
a joke.
you know
now.
what? As long as they can stay relevant and they can be on the screen 24/7, 365, that's what the NFL wants, baby.
Yep, that's
Product doesn't have to be great.
true. Okay, moving on to the last segment this week. What are you watching? That is, what are we streaming right now and enjoying on streaming television? We want to know what you are watching, as we had asked the Pittsburgh Property Diva as well. She's watching she watches all the Housewives,
Yeah.
except Atlanta and DC, and Miami's no longer around. So she watches New York,
See, he knows all of them.
Hollywood.
you know that,
Why doesn't she watch Atlanta?
Yeah.
Or
I
Basketball Wives.
don't, because she just doesn't like basketball.
Okay, that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Buffalo
Mhm.
Bandits champs again, says Pat on track.
Well,
and
there you go.
only Pat would care. Okay, so what are we watching? We're going to start with Steve this
Ooh, I'm
week.
first. Thank you.
Steve, you are watching.
Last Chance You on
Mhm.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Now, this is season 1. Actually, Mark, I did look it up, and they actually have a season 2 for the same basketball. So
Okay.
there are also football ones, and I haven't seen any
Yeah.
of the football ones. But I did see all of season 1 for Last Chance You basketball. And let me just tell you, this is great entertainment television for 2 reasons. One, it's about junior college, right? So you have a lot of guys who either tried to make it in Division I basketball and failed, or were headed in that direction and couldn't get there either because of grades or
Mhm.
family life got in the way. Something happened, right? And it's just like a lot of broken families. And the coach, basically becomes his family. And these coaches get paid nothing. Like
Right.
literally, he gets paid like $5,000 to coach this team. And it's like hundreds of hours a week of work. And the guy basically does it because if he gets good at it, and
Maybe.
good
Right.
enough at it, he's going
Right.
to get a big payday someday,
Mhm.
right? But you can tell like he really cares about these kids because, he came from a similar background, he made it into the pros, and you can just tell he's very passionate about basketball and what it is about life. But just a great show. I mean, the best thing about this one, the season 1, is it ends in COVID. So everybody knows how COVID ends.
Yeah.
Right.
It ends badly for everybody.
Like a big splat.
It's
Yeah.
like we're going to the championship games, and it's like they have a chance to win the championship, and this coach has never won the championship, although he's been in the finals like 3 times in 6 years or something like that. And then it's like, okay, wait, what's going on? We can't get on the bus. They're canceling everything. And it's like you start to get PTSD. Everybody will, I promise you. When you watch the last episode, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's right. COVID just destroyed everything. And they do a 5 months post
right.
on it. And
Right.
Yeah. So they do tell you what happens there.
they do tell you like
And, with the words.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
you get to see
Words
Mhm.
like this.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
words
kinds of
like
words.
this on the screen.
Those kinds of words. Yeah.
Those kinds of words.
those kinds of
English words.
Yeah.
It's in English.
It's not Italian.
It's not
Or
dubbed.
Israeli.
There's,
No, it's
there's
not dubbed.
subtitles. Can you handle that?
No. No.
But yeah, great.
If they do it in Swahili, I can.
Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead.
it's not, so I'm sorry.
All right.
But yeah, if you get a chance, definitely check out Last Chance You on Netflix.
Yeah, I've enjoyed those shows. They're good.
And DG is actually in the house.
Finally.
He wants to say Antonio Brown stiffed his team with their last paycheck.
He
Yeah.
did.
Antonio Brown has stiffed an awful lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's pretty much a walking stiff.
Pat on track. Lots of guys can shoot. Steve, D1 guys can play D. What? Okay.
Hmm.
All right, Mark, you are watching, I believe it's a movie.
Yeah, it was a movie. It's
Right.
out in the theaters as we speak. No Hard Feelings, starring Jennifer Lawrence. Very funny. I really enjoyed it, beginning to end. Coming of age story for the youngster. Not very good with the ladies. Parents hire what they think to be a sex worker, although this is really just her first go around because she's Jennifer Lawrence's mother passed away, left her the house. She hasn't been paying taxes. She's fearful of losing the house. She's an Uber driver. Her car got towed away, so she needs a car. And they're going to give her a car if she will date hard this young man.
What does date hard
Date
mean?
hard.
It means date hard.
That means she's in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have
Meaning
anything
the
to
car.
do with nut allergies?
No.
No.
All right.
And
No, it does not.
It was very funny though. This is one of those where I mean, I don't know. You guys maybe aren't as with it as let's say I am.
No, we're not.
So like I would imagine. Sarah, have you seen the commercials?
No.
Okay, so you haven't. But sometimes when you see previews, you kind of think like, did I see all the funny scenes in the previews?
Right.
And this was one
right,
where I
yeah.
thought maybe that was the case, and like it totally wasn't. There was like a just boatload of funny stuff in it. It was really good.
All right.
You'll enjoy it.
No,
No
hard
hard-
feelings in theaters now, starring Jennifer Lawrence,
I'm
who's
surprised. I thought maybe
fabulous.
you would go for the Indiana Jones movie.
No, I don't know. Like, I'm sure I will see it at some point, but at the same time, it's like, do I really need an 85-year-old like Indiana Jones? Like at this point, it's kind of like, come on, like, can he even like run anymore? I mean, he's probably like, they're putting him like on like a masseuse around the clock just to deal with, scenes where he has to walk.
Well, you-
CGI.
you've obviously thought a great deal about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Just think how much more he had to act because of his age.
I don't know, like, what's there going to be another, boulder that rolls after him? I mean,
Of course,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
joy of these movies.
you
It's all about the
get
boulders.
a lapso.
I'm actually
out.
thinking of going tomorrow.
Are you?
Mm,
Are you really?
Mm.
Yeah.
What time? Maybe I'll go with you.
Afternoon matinee, little afternoon delight down at the waterfront.
Diner, waterfront?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a text, let you know what I'm thinking.
Okay. That's
Anybody else want to go? Well, the waterfront. We'll see you down there.
Thank you, Schwaber.
Thanks.
Yes, you got
I am watching something on Apple TV Plus called The Crowded Room with Amanda Seyfried and Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
My daughter loves that guy.
TH.
Brad Trombley says he's enjoying the show tonight. Thank you, Brad. We enjoy you being here. Hey, the phone number's down there. Give us a call if you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
join the show. Tell us what you're watching.
The Crowded Room is on Apple TV Plus, and I'm going to do my best to give you what it's about without giving away what it's really about. Okay. The first thing I'm going to say is
the room crowded?
it is crowded.
Are there
Okay.
3 or more people in it?
There are definitely 3 or more people.
Do the walls cave in?
At some point, they begin to.
So it's a horror movie.
No,
Are there really walls in this room?
it's a series. Theoretically,
See.
Is there a table in the room?
there is.
Does it involve narcotics?
I'll
Kind
take
of.
that as a yes.
Kind of.
That's a yes.
Well,
He
well,
paused.
kind of. Well, it's not like what Schwab likes.
Are
No,
there-
no.
Right.
Are
yeah.
there flashbacks?
That's an easy one. I mean, you can say yes for just about everything you watch. Yes, there are flashbacks.
So it's not original.
What?
I don't understand that either. So in the end, is everybody confused?
I don't know, but I'm starting to get confused right now.
Maybe
no.
you're in the crowded room.
Is the theme song performed by the band Crowded House?
No, because this is the Crowded Room. It's
Mm.
performed by the Crowded Room.
Mm.
By Crowded Room. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So what I have to say about this is that Tom Holland is wait a minute. Pat on track. I saw the Sean Connery one with that distance swimmer. Geez, she was good looking.
Pat, you're off track.
Yep. as usual.
Get it back, Pat.
As usual.
What in the world is he talking about? It's like an old James Bond movie.
I don't know.
That's what I
don't
was
know.
thinking.
Maybe it's got to be something named Crowded Room or something.
Yeah,
I have no
right.
idea. I have no idea.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So the Crowded Room. Tom Holland puts on an incredible performance. That is what I have to say about that. He really does. He shows that he is very, very talented and diverse in the roles that he can play, because we all know I think he's Australian, isn't he?
Yeah. I think
This
he
is Tom Holland's sort of emergence into the Hollywood elite.
I think so. I really do. I think so, because he let's just say
I'm
that.
just giving you better words than you're spitting out.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So he's very good. It takes place in the 1970s. It's based on a book about a true person. I'm not going to name the person.
That would give it away.
There was a
Oppenheimer.
Well, it would not. It would give it away if you saw the documentary on this person, which I saw the documentary on this person. So.
I think,
but it's really good. It's about a kid who is one of those kids who was kind of bullied in high school, in high school when he was younger in the 70s, and his mother went through a divorce, and he has a stepfather,
Broken home,
and it's like a broken home sort of thing. And then when he gets to approximately college age, he gets into some trouble, and he ends up in jail. And he ends up in jail. The summary. We're going to, you know what? We're going to have our own movie. It's going to be called The Summarizer. And all it is it's going to be a series of violent escapades, and then Mark in the back acting out.
Now in jail. Time to reflect.
Yeah. Getting killed. Anyway, it's
surviving.
It's really good.
The slammer.
It's really good. Surviving the slam. The Crowded Room on Apple TV Plus. We've been on air for way too long.
Yes,
today.
we have. Yeah. It happens when you got a birthday to celebrate.
All right, absolutely. Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America.
Set off those fireworks safely tomorrow, folks.
I don't know. I'm just
Alrighty.
going to fire them into the sky.
There you go.
Make sure they make it into the sky.
And we are running out of here as fast as we friggin' can. We'll see you on Monday of next week.
Come back. Come back for more. Happy birthday, Pat.
Pat's right about that. Pat's right about that. Thank you for watching the Sports Porch Podcast. All over social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And you can always catch us at theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com.
theporcheslive.com.
That's right. We will see you next week. I'm your technical director, and I am out. Goodbye.
Good stuff.
Anything left to say?